On Take 5 for Foodies, KTAR.com, we have offered you a variety of beverages, wines, and some wonderful things that you can drink with your meal. Perhaps nothing more wonderful than the glorious miracle that is tea. And it is virtually infinite, isn't it, Kirsten Wingert?
Yes, I would say it is infinite, and it is one of the oldest beverages and one of the most popular beverages in the world.
And infinite in the varieties and the colors
absolutely.
and the origins and so on. By the way, I should acknowledge this is not just any Kirsten Wingert. This is Kirsten Wingert from Souvia Tea, located on 7th Street, north of Thunderbird, at Coral Gables.
Coral Gables, yes, exactly.
Kirsten, you and I have known one another for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
So would you mind please doing me the honor of brewing a perfect cup of tea?
The perfect cup of tea, that's actually our byline, and I will gladly do that. The most important aspects when you make the perfect cup of tea are the steeping time, the steeping temperature, the water temperature for the tea, and then, of course, having a good base product, a good tea.
And there's a variety here, so you pick one.
Okay.
You pick one, and I know that you know exactly the right temperature that the water should be, but we're going to get into that as you start brewing. So let's start that process.
So I'm going to, I think I'm going to pick this black and green tea blend.
If I may.
Yes, of course.
Excuse me, please. Close up on the nostril. Oh, even if I didn't like to drink tea, I would just love the aroma.
It's a dessert in a cup, isn't it? It's Strawberry Fields. It's a blend of black and green tea, and it has a strawberry flavor. Now, for the perfect cup, you want to measure 1 teaspoon per 6 ounces of water. And in my little tea steeper, which is a very practical device, this is kind of the modern way of making tea in this magic filter, as we call it. Can I just hand this back to you? So, and then I have some water. Now, the water temperature is important because you have different varietals of tea. You have a green tea, black tea, white tea. They are all processed differently. And using water, for example, that is too hot for a green tea will just bring out the tannin and the bitterness. And that's not, you won't like this.
What is the temperature for Strawberry Fields tea?
For here you can cheat a little because it's a black and green tea. So here it's kind of just below boiling. And for black teas, that's what you want. You want boiling water. For the green teas, your water temperature should be just below boiling, about 175. And now you're probably going to ask me, how do I know what 175 degrees is?
I don't have to because you just said that. You're going to tell me.
Well, there's an easy rule of thumb that I give my customers. I tell them, if you want the temperature to be correct, then just, I have to put this here on the side. Then the rule is, if you make a black tea, bring the cup to the kettle. Get the water while it is hot. If it's a green or white tea, you bring the kettle to the cup.
Can I call Souvia and ask you questions like that? Because, it isn't exactly like the simplicity of having a string hanging out of my cup with the bag on the inside, and you do this, and then you've got a cup of tea.
Right.
You're talking about chemistry.
Yes.
And you're talking about a wonderful example of how different tea can be than just dragging a tea bag through.
Exactly, and that matters even more when you have orthodox teas, basically your straight varietals, like a white tea or a green tea and a black tea, and it's also infinite, the variety and the quality. It's just like wine. You can have an exceptional white tea that really you have a very short steeping time. You need to kind of experiment a little bit too. So it does bring out the flavor better when you stick to the right temperature of water and the right steeping time.
And loose tea is what you provide at Souvia.
Yes. Loose tea, we have, I would say over 150 different loose leaf teas, specialty teas from all the best estates in the world. Some of them we import directly.
Where's the best tea made ever? The best tea grown?
The best tea grown, it's hard to say, but I'm a little biased. I would say the birthplace of tea is China. And they goes back 5,000 years, and they have certainly perfected the art of making tea. And you find some of the best teas come out of China.
Now, have you perfected the art of pouring tea?
The art of pouring tea.
Would you do that for me
I will
now
do that
it's
for you now.
brewed?
Yes, and you know, you also can use a timer
Uh-huh.
if you want to be really exact with the steeping time. And this
Well,
little
look
device,
at this. Look at this.
the pouring with this device is very easy. You just set it on your cup. The tea drains into your cup and the leaves stay behind. Isn't that great?
Absolutely. You know, the only thing better than having something like that is having something like this.
Yes,
Because
the real thing.
I really, really love tea. And it's dramatically different when it isn't just a tea bag.
Yes. Oh, the quality is just, it's so different because tea is graded. I take that as a,
Excuse me.
it's good.
I may have to go to confession. By the way, in coffee and tea bag tea, I almost always use a sweetener.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider that.
It has, you know, a lot of my customers say that too. It has so much flavor. And you'll find that even with the straight varietals, they have such a great flavor profile that you don't want to add anything.
And in the summertime, I've got to have my iced tea. Give me the secret before we have to say goodbye to Souvia.
Iced tea, okay, well, especially in Arizona, you know, that is, you can't live here without drinking iced tea. And at Souvia, we're all about being practical.
Okay.
So
you have the carafe.
we have the carafe that's actually also your tea maker because it has the filter that you can attach to the lid. You fill it with about 8 to 10 teaspoons of tea, put it in your filtered water, and let it steep. And you can even cold steep this. So like this I prepared this morning. I just measured my tea in here, added cold filtered water, and then put it in the fridge. And when it's done steeping, you just detach it, and voila, you can serve it. And the best part, it's actually nice and fits in the side of your refrigerator door.
If Aunt
So it doesn't
Beatrice
take up
comes
much
over to the
space.
house, Aunt Beatrice comes over to the house and says, no, that's all right, I'm going to go into the kitchen and brew myself a cup of tea. And if you catch her doing this with the bag, you know, you can forgive her once, send her to Souvia. If she keeps doing it, please tell her you don't want her kind in the house. Souvia Tea on 7th Street, just at Coral Gables, which is the light north of Thunderbird,
yes.
okay? You can ask for Kirsten Wingert,
Yes.
or ask for anything in the world under the heading of tea. This is 5 minutes. 5 minutes that's gone by so fast. Take 5 for foodie.